insane to jump out the plane.
Got it. What's that, sorry? Hello? I tried that and it said no. I had a lovely picture of him as well. Postman partly skin cat.
Yeah, you walk around with the cat, it's like, is that your familiar? Do I have to burn you?
It's true.
I was telling Zed earlier on that the amount of equipment that Evil's character starts with works out to about 20 gold's worth. And
Jesus.
yeah, even though he can't fight, we should just put him up front and all hit around him with long sticks, because his armor, I think he's got something like 5 points of armor. So just push him at the front so we'll stand behind and throw things or use long sticks to hit the bad guys.
I'm concerned I start with a dagger.
Yeah.
Well, when I was looking at the Squire, it's like, hang on a minute, they don't start with any melee weapons. But as the warrior, he starts with a melee weapon.
Oh.
Otherwise, it's like, hang on, he's got a shield that all you can do is hit people with the shield and not actually attack.
Saying that, Warhammer, if memory serves me, isn't or shouldn't. I don't think it is a big hack and slash, is it?
No.
Not really, no.
Huge hack and slash.
Yeah, it's not like D&D where loads of fights. The fights are usually quite short and brutal. That's what that's for. Go on, you're the big one.
Yeah, that's going to be at the front all the time. Like.
Yeah.
Just as long as he doesn't try and hide. I'm going to stealth. No, you can't do that.
Well, he can actually. He's a rogue.
No, he's a thug. Yeah.
Yeah. It comes up with this rogue scoundrel thing, so I think he starts with stealth.
Oh crap.
I think. I'm not 100% sure. Actually. Stealth. I've got 35 in stealth on Warhammer as well.
I do love the percentile system.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've played it, so it's going to take a little getting used to.
We do it. Every Saturday's our percentile days, and it's fun.
Yeah. I know. I remember Warhammer was one of my favourite systems. So I'll pick it up again in no time.
Well, that's it. I mean, I've not played it since what, the 80s, mid to late.
No, I played it more recently than that. Within the last decade is all I can say. Though it has been years, but
I keep meaning to pick up the book and troll through it, but I'm like, I get home from work and I'm like, I'm not good. Why isn't this an audio book?
well, because the rest of the party, I've been playing this for years and years and years. They all knew the background things, so I never looked far into the background. So I know the general things, but I don't know a huge amount.
Mm.
I should read it, really.
The novels are awesome.
I've read one of them, but I can't remember which one. And that was a long time ago.
Yeah, Dragonfalls I read, and there's a couple of others of the fantasy ones, but yeah, they're very good.
Well, I got rid of all my books years ago because I had no room for them. So I started converting the ones that I loved onto Kindle. So I can't remember what book it was because I got rid of it.
Is it wages night for Sorentar?
No, he's on Division.
Ah.
Yeah.
I had a quick blast. I was about to start a mission. I thought, no, look at the time.
Yeah. Well, he's.
No, he's out.
I'm not
He's
sure.
out. He should be on his way.
He was on minutes ago. He was on his. He's on either his third or his fourth character.
Yeah, he's got 4 like me.
God.
I've only got 2.
Why am I kind of that?
I'm trying to get the manhunt up on the second one. So once I've done the manhunt on that, I'll start the third one.
There's about 5 weeks left of the game, right? We get a reset tomorrow.
Something like that, yeah.
Evening.
Evening.
This is
Hello.
bloody.
I think it's Golden Bullets or something tomorrow.
Was it Golden Ball?
It's Auntie's thing, isn't it?
Or is it
The
Golden Bullet the week after?
Golden Bullets after, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Auntie's League, is it? Something like that.
Oh, nice. What, tomorrow?
I think so, yeah. 20, I think it was like less than 20 hours on it, so it'll be tomorrow, yeah.
Right, give that a go tomorrow then and see what comes of it.
I've cleared 2 areas on the manhunt. Not got the bosses yet on my second character. I've got a few more things to do on the rest. I'm going to try and finish the manhunt. Well, I'm not going to finish it before Auntie's League unless I actually stay up all night.
Or night. It's not like you have work tomorrow, do you?
No. I found out a few minutes ago that I didn't get the job that I went for.
You didn't.
But
Oh, that's a bummer.
it was very, very close, and they're still trying to work out whether they can afford me in the budget and get us both on. So I'm hoping, keeping my fingers crossed, but not holding my breath just in case.
All right, Mehdi, we good to go?
We are indeed.
All right.
I've just got my fourth character through Warlords in New York as well, so...
So you've now got the manhunt as well.
Yeah, I don't think I'll bother doing it with him.
All right. So, welcome back. Last session, which was a 3 weeks ago now.
What is going on with this fucking camera? Sorry.
I was going to say some issues.
Yeah, mine was light. If I open my curtains now, I'll look like a ghost, as in there's a halo around me type thing. So I shut the curtains most of the way just to allow me to be visible, really.
So, gentlemen, 3 weeks ago, our last session. No, 2 weeks ago, our last session. You wrapped up in Bangkok. You get back. Ugh. Pick stuff up from the hotel. Including all the things that you'd hidden under the wardrobe, etc. Head back to your aircraft. Send telegrams to Janet, updating her on things that you have found. You begin your 5-day journey westwards to Valletta.
That's
During
right.
that time, what are you doing?
I was trying to figure out where all stability had gone. I learned the things
That's right.
to
And you were removed.
with the
Were
mouth.
you then going to remove mouths or not?
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah.
I learned the spell and did it on.
You had to. I did. I
Sugar.
did 2, and you had to do me because I'd run
Yeah.
out of stability.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, I'm not going to have you start in Malta with no stability. So each of you. Oh no, that's what that D6 was for, wasn't it?
Yeah, we got some back.
You got some back.
Yeah, I'm still on -1.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you on -1 stability?
Yeah, I took a thing you hit, didn't I?
A sanity hit.
A sanity hit. Oh, but yeah, sanity. Where's sanity go? Yes, I'm 7 of 8 sanity.
Could be worse. You could be 7 of 9.
7 of 9.
Although that might be better.
I was going to say, I can't see anything bad about that, to be honest, but.
So, whilst you're in the air, you conduct these rituals, you do have quite a bit of time on your hands. So, I thought we'd start by you all recapping what you think you know, what your plans are.
Well, what I think I know is crazy. I'm focusing more on dismantling this drug operation more than anything.
Because you're not prepared to accept anything else?
More, I don't understand it.
Okay.
And I know I don't understand it.
All right.
Being fairly religious, I know there's things out there that are beyond me, so it's not so much accepting it. It's
So how do you think you did in Bangkok in that regard? Do you think you dismantled the drug organization?
we dismantled someone at the head of the cult, I think, which was a success. Drug organization, no, because that would involve destroying that mouth, which the other guy, I can't remember his name, I've got it somewhere. He's got a plan for destroying that.
We took out one of the major drivers, though, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as you know, you cut the head of the serpent off.
Yeah, though Thowie's still about.
But Thawi is still alive. Okay.
But what's his face is keeping Thawi in check, I think.
Well, is
Ravi.
Roll
Was it
goes
Ravi?
back.
No,
Was it not Zuck?
Zuck. That's it. Sorry. Yeah, so we know if that mouth there gets out of control, he's just going to blow the whole thing up anyway.
Yeah. So we're having to rely on him, really.
Okay. And so where do you think other parts of this drug operation / cult are operating?
LA, Malta, and Mexico are the three that I've got there.
Because it was
So
the three
where in
different
Mexico
types, wasn't it?
Yeah, where in Mexico? I haven't got a clue. LA, we know where it is. It's Shammel's base.
We had the PO box address, didn't we, for Mexico, for the record,
Yeah.
which we can almost safely assume that that'll be where they're making the or where the mouth is.
Do you have any other locations you think could be of interest?
I think we heard that they were in a lot of major cities. I'm not sure whether Moscow was mentioned or, but yeah, it's they're trying to go global, aren't they?
They are trying to go global, yeah. Okay. And so, as a group, then, is the purpose for going to Malta to try and shut down the operation in Malta?
That and gather more information as to where the rest of them are.
Okay.
It's basically a big game of Kaplunk at the moment.
Yeah.
You do have lots and lots of information, and there is one other location that's been mentioned where the cult has gone for definite. Yes, distribution across the world is something that you heard, I think, in Bangkok, or you read in Bangkok. But as far as you know, the locations that you've mentioned, those 4 locations, are the only locations that have been mentioned by people that you could link to the very top of the chain, if you like.
Yeah.
That you suspect are locations with mouths.
Yeah, because that's where the drugs are. And it could be somewhere else, but they're not producing drugs. I don't know.
There is one other location that's been mentioned, but it was kind of mentioned in passing in some documentation, and you may not really have picked up on it. But that's not a problem, but that's just me giving you a hint. If you look through previous bits of documentation, you may find a reference.
Yeah, I've got in the back of my head some link to one of the Nordic countries, but I don't know whether that's to do with something else.
I think it's something else.
I think it was something to do with one of the symbols, essentially. So,
okay. So, what is your plan? What is your plan then when you arrive in?
Well, we've got the name Montgomery Donovan, or probably the head of the Valletta production. So it's finding out more about him and where he is, and then backtrack from him as to where the production is.
I've got Yucatan written down here. Why is that?
That's the location. There's a reason you have that.
Meridia, Yucatan, Sancho Dominguez, and Luke Fausch.
That's Mexico, isn't it?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, Yucatan is Mexico.
But that's not the location of the PO box. The PO box, I think, is located in Mexico City.
Yes,
that's right. Yeah.
So are there 2 in Mexico then? One Yucatan and one.
You've got some kind of information related to an individual called Brooke sending a bunch of people to Yucatan, but if you the message that you saw in Savatri's notes didn't really didn't have any real understanding of why Brooks had sent some people to Yucatan, only that he had done.
Yeah, the record is Luz Discos, PO Box, whatever, De La Luz, Mexico.
Yeah.
Why is there a Nazi blimp on the screen?
So, as you arrive in Valletta, there is a Nazi blimp parked up at the airport. In addition to that, over the Mediterranean, probably sort of 10, 15 miles out, as Frank brings you in, you start to feel the buffeting of a weather front that, from your 13,000 feet cruise altitude, as you come down below the clouds, you can see in that distance lightning. Looks like it's going to be a pretty rough afternoon, possibly a rough evening here in Valletta. As you touch down, you are greeted by the sight of a German blimp that's parked up. You're kind of feeling a little bit more westernized again, the sight of the blimp, which is not an unusual sight. They do travel backwards and forwards across the Atlantic to Germany, from Germany into the US at this point. You're starting to feel a bit more back home, if you like, and that gives you that sense of sanctuary is the wrong word, safeness maybe, that you're not out in Ethiopia or in Africa, or you're not out in Bangkok and amongst the people over there. This is more something that you know. So landing, you can get yourself out of the aeroplane, lug some gear into a taxi, and head down into Valletta proper if you wish.
Indeed. Yeah. Find a
Yeah.
nice hotel to set up base.
Yeah, Valletta is a vibrant and culturally rich city. Very modern for the 1930s, but also antiquated in others. Here and there you can see old buildings, 18th, 17th, 16th century kind of buildings, based on your architectural knowledge, that have been modernized with kind of modern glass and extensions to them. You've got a bunch of options. The taxi driver, let's have a look, see what comes up. The taxi driver recommends the Phoenicia as a rather nice sort of old hotel that you can stay in, that has a little bit of oh no, you can't. It wasn't opened until it didn't start being built until the 1936, so that's not going to work. Let's have a look.
Be like a carry-on film.
Yeah, we've hit some storm and suddenly time travel's possible.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm just having a look. Let's see, is there an about? for want of a better place, let's just. Really hard to find. Let's have a look. I'm trying to find a hotel that would have been. Yeah, it's hard to see. Okay. The taxi driver takes you to a series of. Well, it takes you to a rather nice hotel, sort of in the middle of Valletta, not too far away. I mean, we can use the Phoenicia. Doesn't really matter that it was only built in 1936. This can be a slightly alternate timeline. Doesn't have to be historical. So yeah, you get to the hotel and you very quickly discover, talking to the front desk, that they actually have a number of apartments attached to the hotel, which can offer more of a private entrance, private pool, and the ability for you to come and go as you please. Looks like Joseph's fallen asleep.
No,
Yeah.
sorry, I thought I'd found a list of hotels from 1935 on the UK government site, but it's about some general who bought something. Anyway.
Yeah, well, he's the one with the money, so he's the one that has to make the decision.
Yeah. Right. So go in there, get some rooms set up for all of us.
Okay.
Get something to eat or order something.
Suites, apartments.
We'll go apartments. No suites. Let's not blow all our money in one go. Saying that, if we get apartments, there'll be multiple bedrooms in there, won't they?
Yeah, it's not going to be 3 different apartments. It'll be one
Yeah.
apartment.
So get an apartment with 3 bedrooms if possible.
Okay. Yeah, you can get a 3-bedroom apartment, no problem. Quite a nice place, 3 bedrooms, bathroom, and kitchenette, and a large kind of living area that overlooks sort of a private garden and the pool down sort of in the courtyard. It's a rather nice apartment.
Does it have a safe in it at this time, or are you going to be stashing stuff?
You won't have a safe in the room, but there would be safe down in reception. Or alternatively, there are several wardrobes that you might be able to stash things under.
Yeah.
What's the laws like here regarding weapons?
Don't shoot the Nazis with them.
Or if you do, get into the
Yeah,
plan
that's
of
going to be a
lethal.
problem. I told you that could be a problem.
Okay. So Malta technically is still under British colonial rule at this point, and the Arms Ordinance was enacted, which allowed firearm possession on a May issue basis. So having firearms is not illegal. Brandishing them, maybe having long arms and brandishing them may be a challenge.
Yeah, pistols, basically.
What time are we at? It's
So by the time you've landed, got yourself to the hotel, checked in, gone into your apartment, it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. At this point, the thunderstorm has arrived, and there is a lot of quite dark as it gets with a thunderstorm, lots of heavy rain, and the area around is lit up by lightning every so often as you look out over the balcony, etc. There is, and then every now and then you get that deep rumble of thunder that kind of echoes across Valletta.
Well, I think it might be worth seeing if the reception has a map of, the usual tourist map, if possible, of the area, and then we can plan what to do.
You get a map from.
Maybe pick up a couple of newspapers, see what's going on, see if Montgomery's name's mentioned in any way as person of interest.
There is no mention of Montgomery in the news at all.
Okay.
In terms, usual kind of local news. There's a little bit mentioned about the where are we? Where have we got to on the timeline? I was just trying to find the timeline actually. Where have we got to? March 11th, 1935. Okay. There is news in the paper about an amassing of troops in Eritrea and Italian Somaliland. Approximately 2 divisions worth of troops.
I think we chose the right time to get out of there.
Yeah.
Just out of interest, how much of the research did we take from the house? We took a chunk, didn't we?
You took a chunk, yeah.
Yeah.
So we took most of the research that we could find that seemed key, but we left the irrelevant library.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got all her notes.
Her notes are what I'll be focusing on at the moment. I won't be reading like the Cthulhu stuff or anything like that. I'll be focusing on her notes to try and pull some stuff
You got
out
all
of it.
the Glacky books now. So we've
Yes.
got the full set of those.
Yeah, I got a full set.
Be worth a fortune now, a full set of Glacky.
Well,
For the right person.
I'm going to be poring over the tourist map and hopefully picking up points of interest such as the town hall and whatnot, maybe your library.
you can definitely find those.
I spent a lot of points last game, by the way, at the end. So I've been gathering myself on the flight.
Yeah, I spent 54 now.
Oh, that's what I meant to do before we start again. Yes, I haven't.
Oh, spending some points on skill ups and things.
Yeah.
Especially now, since I told you could increase stability and you could raise your stability and you raise your health.
I spent 15 points on stability, 5 points on health, and 7 points on psychoanalysis.
Okay.
So I've now spent 46 out of 54.
Nice.
What language do they speak in Malta? Maltese, isn't it? Yeah.
Maltese and English, I would say, because it's British colonial rule. So
you would think English, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a flashback stuff.
5 o'clock in the afternoon, the thunderstorm rolls through, and the sun comes out, and it starts to warm up quite nicely. Certainly warmer than it was. At this point, a lot of the piazzas sort of explode in colour as various canopies get raised up and the cafes open. Cafes begin to spill back out on the street, and people start taking their places for evening food. But in terms of museums, shop points of interest, you can definitely find all that information from the map. Are you going to take a stroll out, enjoy the evening?
Yeah.
Maybe get an hour into a library or something before it closes?
We'll just get our bearings as much as anything else. I'll wander around.
Okay.
If anyone wants to pop into the library, why not just wander around and explore the streets and not actually do anything apart from just walk around?
Yeah, so by the time the storm's finished, I presume you don't go and wander around in the storm. I mean, you can do, but assuming
No.
you don't.
No.
You head out.
That's weather for a bar.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you could find a cafe. You could even drink in the hotel's bar if you wanted to. The hotel has a rather nice restaurant. It definitely focuses more on fish than other types of meats. Strolling around the locale, sort of a square mile around the hotel, lots of gardens, museums, many different kinds of shops. There are 2 or 3, weapon shops that include small caliber firearms, knives, daggers, sabers, that kind of thing. Fishing gear, the usual. The far end, sort of to the, I want to say to the north, but it might be the south. I don't know which. I need to have a look at a map. 1 second. You have. It's a Valletta, I think. But it's neither. It's sort of east. Yeah, to the east end of Valletta, you have the harbour area. You're more likely in the sort of the centre of Valletta. It's a pretty, it's a very nice city. There's no two ways about it. It's a very nice city. Quite well laid out. A lot of sort of pedestrian areas rather than places for cars to drive around. You settle on a rather nice looking cafe / bar and kind of settle yourself down outside and spend some time eating and drinking. Around you, you can hear the calls of the gulls. The quiet conversations, the laughter of the people that are enjoying early evening food around you. It is very much a peaceful place. Somewhere where it's very easy for you to forget why you're here.
In which case, Joseph is just going to just sit back and just relax for a moment and just listen to the quiet conversation around him.
people watch.
Hmm.
Hey.
Yeah, I speak French and Spanish. I'm hoping that maybe if people speak English as well, that
Yeah, most
Might-
people are speaking English. You've been sort of here for about an hour, or a little bit longer than an hour, maybe sort of an hour and a half. It's about 6:30 in the evening local time. The plaza that you're enjoying is as busy as ever. And then you notice a group of about 7 people, kind of all men, purposefully kind of striding from one end of the plaza to the other end. And then they kind of go out a street and off. It stands out to you in that you haven't really seen a cluster of men like that walking around. They're not dressed badly. They're all dressed in suits.
Yeah, so it's not a uniform type thing. It's
To you, Alfred, at least 6 of the men have definitely seen military action.
okay. Looking at their features, do they look like locals or
The
from another
way
country?
they're dressed, it is more Western Europe or American.
Okay.
There are a couple in suits with that kind of, American build where the suit just doesn't quite look right on them.
yeah, it's all chest and shoulders.
All chest and shoulders. Chest and shoulders. But they go off down the street.
Is that why people in Tunisia thought I was American? Damn.
Were they armed at all? Or visibly armed, at least.
Not visibly armed.
So they could have had pistols inside their suits or pockets or something.
Give me a
Just happy to see you, mate.
spend. Give me a relevant spend.
Is that a Luger?
I don't know.
Talk
I just said streetwise evidence collection, forensic.
You can have cop talk or evidence collection.
I'll do a
Your
cop
choice.
talk.
Your choice. The 2 closest to you out of this group definitely were sporting a bulge under the jacket that you have seen before and that you indeed are probably carrying right now.
Did we chance upon any what they were saying? Any conversation snippets?
They're across the plaza.
Ah, sorry. Right.
But they stood out, basically.
Mm.
A bunch of 7 blokes striding purposefully across the plaza, like in a cluster, kind of stood out.
Have we seen any police about? Like, are they wearing uniforms?
Yeah, there are a few police about. And actually, just as you kind of watch as this kind of entourage pass through the plaza and out the other side, you notice an officer, a group of 2, but one of the officers just kind of tilts his hat.
Mm. Might be
either
worth find out who they are.
yeah, could be either a special branch of the police or law enforcement, or that policeman's on the take.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Is there a waiter or a waitress nearby?
There's a waitress.
I'll just gesture for them to come over and order some more drinks. But then I'll casually point across this group that's leaving the plaza and say, "Who are those men of such importance?"
Well, that's the English gentleman. Lives somewhere over there, and he kind of points to the north. He often comes through here with his retinue now and then. Banker, businessman. I know he's wealthy.
Oh,
Keeps a yacht anchored out in the harbour. Spent some nights out there, I believe, but that's about it.
what's his name? Do you know it? I'll casually just put some money across as a tip.
Well, I suppose won't hurt. Yes, his name is Mr. Donovan.
Oh, Montgomery Donovan.
I wouldn't know his surname. Are you familiar with the gentleman?
Oh, not personally, but I have friends who've mentioned his name once or twice.
Oh.
That's
Interesting. I can't say he's ever graced our little cafe here, but you often see him passing through. I believe he spent some of his time at the opera house. If he's not at his home or at his yacht.
No, thank you very much. And yeah, just some more drinks for the table. That'd be wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for your help.
And he takes the money, pockets it into his little waistcoat pocket. 5 minutes later, round of drinks, arrive back at the table, chilled, clean.
When the waiter goes, I'll just lean across to my friends and say, "Looks like we found Montgomery."
Yeah.
Indeed.
It
It's a
does
bit-
look
it's a
like a
bit-
policeman take.
Now we need to find out where he lives and kill him.
Say that out loud. As a police officer is walking behind you.
I was thinking more like
With kindness.
Yes, get him with kindness. Oh, excuse me, officer. Do you know where they sell garottes? Gosh, right, okay.
So your English is very poor. You meant a tie, didn't you?
A tie, sorry, a tie. That's right.
See, I was thinking cheese wire, but the same type of thing.
I think it's worth going to the library or the records, where they keep the records, and seeing where he lives. I also wouldn't mind checking out the opera house. Because if you think the fighting pit we were in last in Bangkok was almost like an opera house, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was amphitheatre type thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, the rest of the evening is quiet. You can stay here till sundown, and then on into the evening as people continue to come and go, and you continue to drink and eat and chat. Eventually, looking around, it's probably close to 10 o'clock at night. The waiter is cleaning tables around you.
Oh. Just while we've been sat here through the evening, have there been any sort of riffraff, street urchins, that sort of thing, wandering around?
There probably will have been, yeah. But each one, that the police officers who are on duty spend a lot of time watching them, and in some instances follow them.
Okay.
At no point do you see Donovan come back through the plaza.
You just read my mind. I was about to ask that question. Okay.
You're getting predictable in your questions. No point do you see him come back through the plaza.
Yeah, they're the obvious questions.
I think we'll meander back to our apartment. Unless anybody else has any plans.
No,
No.
just going to spend the evening, rest of the evening reading.
Was that reading or raiding?
Reading.
I heard raiding and thought, am I thinking the same thing here?
One thing that the three of you don't see any sign of in the sort of, and you've been sat here for about 4 hours, 4.5 hours, watching people. There is no obvious sign of people partaking in nectar here.
That's why I was asking about the urchins. I was going to try and get one, or get Alfred to talk to one.
There doesn't appear to be any outward sign of people selling the drug, people taking the drug, people using the drug. You're not getting that musky smell that you're familiar with around nectar.
Maybe this,
Odd to you.
or maybe they're very sensible by not using it on their own turf and just exporting.
What did this version of it do?
That's what I'm trying to find out now.
You don't know. This version was very similar, I believe, to the American version.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a bluish bottle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think it did the. I don't think the
Square bottle.
I don't think it drove them mad with eroticism, did it, or anything like that? I think it was more. I got the impression that this one was more refined.
Yeah. All I've got is blue.
Yeah, square bluish bottle. Oh, square bottle bluish, sorry. But didn't we gave it to Loam?
Yeah, but we gave him 3 different types.
Yeah, unfortunately, we turned him into Jekyll and Hyde, didn't we?
You did turn him into Jekyll and Hyde.
And
She's
then
very
you drowned
angry
him.
and had hard on like you've not seen before.
That's right. Maybe this is the hard-on one. Or was it, no, that was the American one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They don't actually say in the book what the nectar here does. So yes, I think it's a more refined erotic drug. By now, when he's really well and truly cheating on you.
Yeah.
So, first port of call today. Medi's got a perplexed look on his face.
No, sorry, just rearranging cameras.
Yeah, he's trying to unpick the cameras.
Probably get supplies in at least.
Yeah, well,
I only food and things. So
yeah, well, I don't mind spending my time for this day just continuing the reading to get all the details that I can out of those documents.
Right.
Locations and names and things like that. So I'll pull those together. But like the first part of the day.
I'm gonna go out for a little wander and just go maybe look at the. Is the bay quite close, or is it a fair walk?
It's probably a couple of miles away.
Yeah, I'll have a saunter down there. Maybe have a look at this yacht. See if we can find out this yacht.
yeah, I was going to go for a wander and head the direction that crowd, those some guys went, and just see if there's anything obvious as in that general direction.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take you through to midday then. So Ralph stays back at the apartment, continues to pore through the notes and some of the books that Savitri had in her library. the two of you take a fairly circuitous route. You go back into the plaza where you ate dinner last night. You head out through the northern exit of the plaza, following the road, but very quickly you realise it's quite impossible to know exactly where he went. There are several, roads that kind of crisscross. Lots of other, well, I say lots of other, but maybe 2 or 3 more plazas that you would pass through. You invariably continue to go northwards. You kind of enter less commercial, more private residence areas. And then you will hit the northern coastline of Valletta. Following eastwards from there will take you along the coastal path and the small coastal roads in front of some of these rather elegant houses to the harbour area. Get out into the harbour area, there are many yachts, boats and ships. All of various sizes, shapes. There's probably a British cruiser or something, destroyer of the day, sort of parked just off the coast of Valletta. With vague information that you have, it's going to be pretty impossible unless you stumble over him again. It's going to be pretty impossible for you to find him. You then kind of follow back down into the sort of the centre of Valletta, find a couple of convenience stores, supermarket type things, load up some bags full of groceries, including some British tea. Although you're Americans, you probably want coffee, and it's not going to be amazing coffee here. It's not bad. You'll get some Italian coffee here that you could maybe purloin. And arrive back at your apartment for lunchtime, where you proceed to have a rather nice kind of light Mediterranean lunch.
Yeah, again, just people watch, I think, for a while, and just see.
Out near the harbour, the people that you see are definitely of a more rough nature. Moving in and around lots of warehouses, but again, there's no real sign of nectar.
No smell.
There's none of that smell now.
I'll just casually under my breath say to Alfred, maybe it's like how I said that nobody uses on the island. It's just a production facility.
Could be.
As lunch rolls through, we get to sort of just after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. With not a lot of other information, you decide the best thing to do is to probably go hit
the library or the town hall, I think.
the library and the town hall. Yes. The library, well, the town hall first.
Is it going to be with being British rule? Or is it going to be very much like a British town hall where they'll have open records?
Yes.
Brilliant. So I think it's a case of looking at property perhaps that's been bought, if we can find anything like that.
Give me a library spend.
I shall not, because I don't have it.
I'll give you spend.
Oh, thank you.
He's got 50 odd points of experience not spent, and he doesn't know how to use a library.
No, I know.
And he's been spending the last 6 months with you all scouring books and things in
The library.
libraries and other town halls.
Was it 54 points we've got, by the way?
I think so.
Might be 56 now. What session's this?
I've got 54 spent.
I've just spent 52, so if I do, I'll spend 2 points in library, because that's a really valid point, that.
Yeah, well, I didn't have library use. I got it early on from helping Ralph.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 56 points at the end of this, isn't it?
Yeah. So the open records tells you that there are lots of properties registered in the name of a Montgomery Donovan. But in particular, there is a Harbour View townhouse in Western Valletta near the Great Siege Road. You probably, looking at the map, hit the hit that western edge of Valletta, probably one road too close to the harbour. Otherwise, you'd have walked right past it that early that morning. There is a yacht registered in Donovan's name and a warehouse in the western end of the southern harbour. As you look at information, you can see that ultimately what you have is a rather wealthy individual, but no real legal footprint available.
So where's he making his money? Well, we know where, but...
Yeah. How's he hiding that he's making it from? Tour operator?
Yeah. Sorry, his large house was where, sorry? Did it
He
say?
has a
Western.
Harbour View townhouse in Western Valletta.
Okay. Oh, is that back? The Opera House. Are there shows every night, or? Because if he's spending a lot of time there, I'm assuming there must be shows on quite regular. No,
There are shows on every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Right. And we're on Tuesday.
Yes.
Alfred, is there anything you can think of that we need to?
Are you saying that we found lots of properties? Any of them businesses or?
Well, the one that stands out business wise is a harbour, southern harbour warehouse complex. Yeah.
Has the warehouse got a company attached to it? Like, is there a company name or?
Doesn't appear to be. It's just listed under his name. Maybe Donovan's receivers or something.
Yeah.
might be worth just taking a wander over there.
Yeah, that's all I can think of. See if
You'll have your
Traffic.
camera. You can take some.
traffic.
Yeah. So just
Yeah.
take you to touristy pictures of the heart of those. Those lovely boats out there, and maybe the warehouse.
Traffic leaving the warehouse might have vans with business names on the side or something.
Mm.
If we're lucky.
You can
Yeah.
approximate on your little sort of map. You can approximate that location as being roughly where the townhouse sits. You can see the aerial view, yeah.
Yeah, with the giant arrow.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to work out how to ping. I can't remember.
You won't be able to ping on that because
Oh, it's a picture. Yes.
It's not a map. So it's kind of the western end, because this is an east-west running thing. The northern side of the of Valletta. And he has a warehouse sort of on that southern spare across the water on the south side of the map. What would be the south side of the map?
Gotcha.
Okay, so there's water between his house and
The warehouse, yeah.
the warehouse, right? Okay, so we can't walk over to the warehouse, not unless.
You'd have to get a taxi round.
Yes, you can, Jeebus. You can walk.
You could walk if you wish, for sure. For sure.
Just take a long time.
Yeah, we'll get a taxi round. I think that's a good idea. Should we check on Ralph first before we go? See if he wants to come along?
Yeah.
Or see if he's gone Wibble. We have to put him out of his misery.
Well, we've got multiple cameras as well.
True, yep.
Well, I'm gonna say by this time it's probably close to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, as you've kind of rifled through the paperwork and things. I don't know if you wanted to go and check the library for newspaper, because this is a municipal's records office. There's no newspapers here.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to check the library.
In which case, yeah, let's do the library.
Okay.
Yeah. See if there's anything on him. If he's that wealthy and he's got a business, might be some news articles about him as well.
Yeah, I'll maybe look for missing people as well.
Looking
Any strange things happening?
through newspaper, sort of microfilm, fish type stuff. Sort of starting now and working backwards, basically, until, to see what you can see. There is, let's have a look, a photo of Donovan and his wife. Actually, it's a newspaper article. Royal Opera premieres Veils das Jahrzehnte. Premiere of Kurt Weill's Death der Jahrzehnte, which, yeah, you can read it. And there is a photo there of Montgomery, and you take to be his wife, Portia Donovan. And actually, it was just over 12 months ago. But this is the only photo in the papers for the last 10 years that you can find of Donovan.
Does he look familiar from the group that walks through?
He was the gentleman that was kind of in the center of the group.
maybe take a picture of this. Mind you, there's no point taking a picture because we can't. We won't be able to get developed yet, will we?
Oh, we could always create a dark room in the apartment if we need to, but
Yeah, that could be your next job. Or tonight's job for you. How about recent missing persons or deaths and things like that?
There are a number of, well, I say a number, I mean, there are definitely reports of deaths and people missing, but it doesn't seem, not knowing Malta and not knowing Valletta, you can't make out whether it's an elevated number, whether it's about the same. Yeah, and if you flick through a couple of papers over the last 12 months, there are always references to people dying, being found dead, missing.
any references to drug problems with drugs?
Really, no.
Okay.
Stabbings, the odd shooting, drowning.
Dad have a drug overdose, then they just stabbed them, so it looks like something else.
Well, yeah, you don't know. There's nothing to suggest otherwise.
So it's Portia, isn't it? Portia Donovan.
Portia Donovan.
I'm guessing. So there's no more pictures of him. But what about her? Is she anywhere? Or is she in recluse?
No records. Yeah, equally no records.
Are there any details about Montgomery, like where he comes from? Where's his country of origin? And the name, I would guess Ireland, but
So no, there's no record. There's nothing.
Okay.
Sorry, excuse me.
I think we need to book a night at the opera for Friday.
Could be a thing.
Yeah,
Could be a thing, eh?
everyone needs to get something to keep me awake through an opera.
I have a sharp pencil.
You might like it, Alfred.
Doubt it.
I never thought I'd like opera, and then I went to one and I was right.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, if you go to the opera, you're going to need to dress for it.
Yeah.
Let's get it used for a shopping montage.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joseph's probably the only one that's actually got the clothes to go to.
Well,
Right.
And don't worry, we've got Joseph's money, so don't worry.
Don't worry.
you've still got a few £100 left of the money you were given by Jana at the beginning. Although it's probably dwindled down quite a lot by now.
Oh yeah. It's not so much what we've been doing; it's the hotels.
Yeah.
Also, we've got the money we took off the PI that was on the take.
It was also $500, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. That was a fair bit.
You return back to your residence, pick up Ralph, tell him what you've discovered today. Wend your way back down for food, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Nice seafood buffet.
That's us with three days of the shits.
Yes. It's only been out on display for 2 days.
Do you wish to do anything? Do you wish to do anything that evening?
No, just catch up on what we've discovered and what Ralph's discovered about these notes that he's going through. And then, so do you want to come with us, Ralph, tomorrow to the warehouse?
Or go instead of me? That would do. I have got no cultural skills whatsoever.
But it's the warehouse or the opera house?
Warehouse.
Well, oh yeah.
Yes.
I'd probably want to go to the warehouse, whereas he wants to go to the opera house.
No, we'll go to the opera house on Friday. But no, we go to a warehouse. Then we can just have a route around.
Do you just want some library use spend for reading these?
No.
This
No.
research? No.
Because you're doing it quietly and you're just taking your time. So
Yeah.
You're fine. As you kind of head out again into the streets of Valletta, now you've got some ideas of where things may be. Are you going to just find a local cafe near where you're staying, or are you going to try some other tactic?
We could try a more local cafe, a local, as in the locals.
Okay. All right.
I think sort of like, that sort of cafe where the workers finish work and they go to.
Okay. Well, you kind of gravitate more towards where you think Donovan's townhouse is. And as you're walking through a smaller plaza, there's probably a half dozen cafes. Well, maybe not that many, maybe 3 cafes, 4 shops of different types sort of around this plaza. Maybe a small fountain or something in the middle. But Alfred, your attention is drawn to one of the cafes. It's a slightly smaller cafe than maybe the other 2. A couple of tables outside, but you're sure that at one of those tables there are 3 gentlemen that you recognise from last night.
Okay. I'll point out to the others that some familiar people over there. That particular cafe.
Oh, yes, I see. Seems like an ideal place to get a drink and something to eat, maybe.
Yeah, and listen.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Ralph said he'd pay.
Carrying with you, Alfred?
Pardon?
What are you carrying with you?
Hunting rifle.
As in
javelin.
weaponry or things. I'll probably have my camera with me.
Just the camera.
Yeah, camera. I won't have a gun with me. I'll probably have my brass knuckles, but I won't have a gun.
Anybody have any of the three of you? Anybody got a pistol or anything with you?
I've got my usual knife in my boot. That's
No.
part of the boot.
I've not been told otherwise, and I've not been told it's illegal, so by default, yes.
Okay, give me a conceal check, please.
Can I help?
No.
Throw a blanket over him.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you an extra +1 for help from Alfred.
Well, unless he's actually gonna sort of like stop me going in and pat me down, I'm not sure he can, because we didn't say he was sorting it out beforehand.
Yeah, this is true. Okay. All right. Yeah. Just give me a conceal.
Nice.
That's actually pretty good.
Those last two were for snipers.
The three of you kind of roll up towards the restaurant, the cafe. You notice that just inside in the window is another table with two more men and what appears to be Donovan, currently enjoying a carafe of wine and some food. As you walk up towards the door, two of the men sat outside, who kind of sat next to each other. Both of them kind of watch you as you walk up to the door, but in particular, Ralph. And you can see one of them leans over to the other one that isn't really paying attention to you and whispers something, who immediately his head swivels and looks at Ralph. Alfred, you realise that there is a rather obvious bulge in Ralph's jacket.
Right.
One of them sort of taps his head and in very strong is not really because it just is, in a very broad English accent. Evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
Oh, I'll go across it. Evening. Nice to meet you. Glad you speak English. What's this place like to eat in?
It's very good. Very good.
Recommend anything in particular?
The scallops are good. The bass is good. The steak is the best.
Oh,
Though
not had a good
it is
steak in months.
imported. Just be aware.
It's what,
It's
sorry?
Sorry.
Imported.
Right.
Like most foods here.
Yeah, where from?
Italy, Greece. I
That's
don't really know, he says. And he kind of beckons one of you to come a little bit closer.
Hmm.
And your friend there, he's rather obvious in his armaments. Whilst the police...
I'm not trying to hide it.
No, I know. Well, is that you say that out loud?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not trying to hide it.
well, the police are funny here, so I would recommend you take a little bit more care in your concealment to avoid questions. I presume, gentlemen, probably not licensed to carry here.
We do have license to carry, but not for here. Can we get a license for here?
You can apply at the police headquarters, of course.
Thank you for the advice.
Thank you.
Right, gentlemen. As I said, it's not technically illegal to carry a firearm. Just make sure the wrong people don't see you and take that as an act of aggression. and an excuse. Anyway, as I said, the steak is excellent. Enjoy your meal, gentlemen.
Thank you very much for your advice, and thank you for the recommendations.
You're welcome.
What I will say is though that without the gun, the wrong people have seen that as a reason to attack me. So I'd rather have the gun.
He smiled. I understand, sir. I understand.
I'm a man of books, so yes, it's not really what I normally do, but being abroad, it seems somewhat dangerous out in the world.
Well, gentlemen, enjoy your meals. I'm sure you'll be safe tonight.
Thank you again.
Don't find a table.
Table.
Yeah, incline my head and
Actually, the tables closest to Donovan each have one man sat at them.
Shoot him, Ralph. You've got a gun.
So it kind of forces you to take a table, and there's maybe 8 tables maximum in here, maybe 9. So 3 at the back, 4 in the middle, 3 at the front, that kind of thing. 2 at the front, so probably 9 tables plus a couple 3 tables outside maximum. It's a very small, very cozy, kind of intimate environment. As you walk in, everybody around the tables nearest to Donovan kind of all look up and watch you as you go in. There's probably, of the 9 tables inside, I would say his men plus him are taking 4 of them. There are probably 3 other couples. There are 2 tables left, mostly right at the back.
I'll take one of those. We don't want to be too in your face on the first meeting.
No. Lovely little waitress comes over, takes your drinks order.
Yep.
Menus in Maltese and English. They have a vast fish section where they guarantee it's local and fresh. And they have a meat section where it just simply says all meat's imported.
I'm going to have a steak.
Yeah.
A slice of home.
No confirmation of country of origin or
No.
source of the meat. It's just that it's imported meat from somewhere
Imported
and
meat.
it's something that isn't fish.
Yeah.
And it might not be people.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Food comes, accompaniments. It is actually a very, very nice meal. Donovan stays for about 2 hours, actually.
It was just him, not his wife.
Just him, not his wife. After a couple of hours, he rises, goes over to the kind of the bar, has a brief conversation with the barman, pays a bill, leaves. Alfred, you notice that at any one time there was no more than 2 of the men were eating. They seem to stagger their orders through the 2 hours. They are definitely military soldiers of some background. Accents that you could hear: American, probably Southern and East Coast, Brits, and at least 1 French. Again, Donovan rises, leaves. His entourage leave with him.
Let's just enjoy the rest of the evening, I think. I don't think we want to follow them.
Yeah.
Did we at any point catch any conversation?
Not really. Donovan didn't really speak. He spoke quietly to his men. The only time you heard him was really when he was ordering things I mean, you got a good view of him. That's what he looks like closer.
It's definitely Paul Newman.
Yeah.
Is it Paul Newman?
Yeah.
I've been trying to figure out the name of the guy, but I recognised him instantly.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we take a quick 10-minute break?
Yeah.
That
Get ready.
sounds. Yeah.
Do that. Yeah, I have no idea who the pictures are. I just used the pictures that the guy who put all this together pulled together. So, Paul Newman.
Butch Cassidy.
When beards were cool, look.
Yeah, that's quite a late picture.
Is that the House of Parliament and Big Ben in the background there, do you think?
Oh, I've lost the picture. Picture's gone. No, that'll be. No. It's,
Big Ben's this side, isn't it? It's on the
Yeah.
right-hand side.
yeah, and it's not white. That looks more like it's going to be sort of Italy side. Probably Venice. I heard that nuts were a good source of protein, so that's why I'm eating donuts.
No.
No.
Okay. The cafe feels less restrictive, less claustrophobic now. Donovan and his entourage have left. People begin to talk a little bit louder.
So did they come across as intimidating? The
No, they came across. They very much kept themselves to themselves. Didn't really interfere with anybody around them, but it was almost a sense of the locals in the cafe just naturally lowered their voices while they were there.
Is it more of a respect thing or just a?
didn't want to be noticed.
It's either respect or fear, I would have thought.
Yeah.
One of the two, or a bit of both.
Waitress comes over. More wine, spirits, beer.
Yeah. Please. I think we'll finish off tonight with a nice bottle of red.
A nice Chianti.
Do you have any beans to go with that?
Make it happen.
Well,
Is this after your calamari, which I'm relatively certain was fried foreskin?
That's right.
I was thinking that the steaks were probably people, so yeah, Chianti and beans makes sense.
You could probably tell with the steak that it had been imported frozen. I mean, you are Americans after all, so you're used to knowing what steak tastes.
Yeah, I've had steak in America, and how they cook it is wrong.
It's American, isn't it?
Yeah.
The steak was definitely not as good as you've had in the States, but certainly some of the best food you've had in a while, given the various locations you've been to.
Yeah.
It wasn't, for instance, it wasn't spiced to hell as it was in Ethiopia. And actually, it was probably spiced quite well in Bangkok as well.
Yeah, it'd be nice in England.
England, yeah.
Yeah, it was very nice in England, yes. That seemed like a dim and distant 3 months ago, though.
Yep. Finish up here then in that case, and just while we have this glass of wine, just listen to the idle chit chat of the people. Is anybody mentioning Montgomery?
Not really.
No. In which case, pay the bill. And we'll take a
stay for an hour, 2 hours.
just an hour after it's gone, I think.
An hour after that. Okay.
Just have a saunter back.
Yeah, it puts you about 20 past 8 in the evening. Saunter back, not a problem. You arrive back at your apartment after a nice half-hour leisurely walk around the streets of Valletta again. Settle back in for the evening. You're a cautious bunch, you lot.
We've learned. Warehouse. Let's do it. Let's do the warehouse in the morning.
What do you expect us to do? Ralph to draw the pistol and just shoot him?
Solve the problem.
Mm. It defended the game, though. All bodyguards were
Or us. Yeah.
us with it.
All the things you're doing, I wasn't expecting the warehouse to be it just yet.
Oh, sorry.
You're saying cautious, and now you're complaining because we're not being cautious.
No?
No, what, we're going to be on Thursday? No. Is it Thursday? Wednesday.
Probably Wednesday. By the time you get over to the warehouse, it's going to be about 10 o'clock in the morning.
Now, we're not going on purpose to go look at where we are, but we want to make it like a touristy thing.
Okay.
And kind of just look around and take pictures of the ocean and things like that.
Okay. So, the first thing that you get at the warehouse is it is quiet. A fence, metal gate, bar the way in from the road. The warehouse itself seems to have a portion of the docks and a jetty allocated to it. There appears to be a freighter docked at the warehouse's jetty. That also appears white.
There appears to be any guards about. They've been fenced off.
Spending a little bit of time, you can see every now and then you can see a couple of individuals kind of exit the warehouse, do a complete perimeter walk, including part way down the jetty, where with your binoculars you'll see one of them will raise his hand, and up on the freighter you'll see somebody acknowledge from like a deck area where the control room would be. And then they go back round and into the warehouse.
It looks to be visibly armed, like long guns or anything, or
They appear to be armed with long guns, yes. Sweeping the warehouse itself, at each end of the warehouse on the roof appears to be a sniper's nest. And at least one of them, you will see the glint of a scope in the sunlight.
There, they've got us. And he's certainly not shipping tuna.
yeah, not that heavily armed.
I'll make a show of pointing out into the sea and getting Alfred to look at where I'm pointing.
Yeah, it's water.
Can you give me, all of you, give me a sense trouble roll?
5, 6.
Yeah.
All of you kind of. So you've kind of found yourself a location that is not obvious to the guards and things inside the warehouse complex, but it gives you that view from the warehouse down to the jetty and to the freighter. So you're still on the roadside rather than the Mediterranean seaside.
Mm.
I would have thought by now, Joseph, that you've probably hired a car.
Yes. Yeah.
Look at what you've done in other places.
Mm.
So it's kind of a place where you've parked. All three of you kind of block what appears to be a monk or a priest. Maybe is Catholicism the core religion of Malta? Yeah.
Think so, yeah. 'Cause
That close to Italy, I would have thought so, yeah.
Appears to be a Catholic priest. Longish beard, black Hessian kind of robe. The thing that looks odd though is the kind of the Maltese cross, very much like a Knights Templar cross that adorns his front. And he is walking along the road by the side of your car. He pauses just for a second, looks in through the window at probably. So Joseph would be driving, and it would be a right-hand drive, so left-hand drive.
I'm normally in the back.
You're normally in the back. So we look straight at Alfred, and you swear he shakes his head at you as he continues walking. Like a no.
In which case,
Corner.
do I notice this?
Yeah.
I'll just start the engine and start driving.
You'll need to do a U-turn.
Yes, I'll do that.
Pull
Are
out.
there any churches or monasteries in this area?
No, you're in a warehouse district. You will turn, you'll pull out, drive up to the intersection where you saw the individual walk, and you turn. No sign of him.
I wasn't seeing things, was I? There was a monk just walked past.
There definitely was a monk or a priest.
Definitely looked like a priest, but an odd priest.
Odd as in old
Odd as in
style of
old
dress?
style of dress, but also it's almost like he was a knight.
We've got links to the Templars from.
You did get links to the Templars from London.
Yeah, but that was different deity type thing, wasn't it?
Well, out of character, wasn't Malta quite a big Knights Templar place?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
I think that priest was giving us a warning, and I think that maybe we should maybe find that priest at some point. In fact, where the hell did he go?
I've definitely been playing Division too much. I was going to say look for manholes.
Yeah.
May have ducked underground.
There are a couple of manholes in the road.
What's the floor like? Is it dusty or
No,
in
it
this
rained,
area?
it rained a couple of days ago, so it's still not super dusty.
Take a look. Yeah. Take a look at the manhole covers, see if any of them look like they've been disturbed recently.
Give me,
So it'd have been like
give me
with a crowd.
shadowing. Give me a shadowing roll.
Oof, that was a bad roll.
The first couple of manholes, or the first manhole, sorry, hasn't been disturbed. But the next manhole that you come to, part of the inscription and symbology on the manhole cover, you notice the Templar's cross. And there is a slight scuffing one side of the manhole cover on the road, as though it's been moved and then moved back.
Oh, we could have parked the car somewhere safe.
Yeah.
Is there a safe place to park the car where it's out of sight of the warehouse?
You are currently out of sight of the warehouse.
Oh, in which case, yeah, if it's safe, put it to one side, off the road.
Okay.
Make it secure.
Okay.
And I still don't have my gun. I'm still just got my knife in my boot.
I've got brass knuckles, so.
Let's go with your instinct, Ralph, and open the manhole cover. Not Ralph, Alfred, sorry.
I was going to say, I've not been told. Yeah, I shall open the manhole cover.
Okay. There is a set of iron runged ladders leading down into the darkness.
Shall go down.
Oh, I'm going to open the boot and check for a torch.
There would be a torch going down into the darkness. As you get down to the bottom.
Now, are you going to climb, or are you going to do the combat slide down the?
I'll do the combat slide.
And the side of the ladders has razor blades.
Immediately to the seaside of this sewer is a thick iron grate. To the west, so that's to the sort of to the north of that, to your kind of northwards. So if you come down north, south, yeah, to the south, you can see not too far ahead in the torchlight, the sewer seems to bend. No, not bend, comes to an east-west T-junction.
Are we shining the torch on the walls looking for any symbols?
On the west, yeah, the westerly wall is a very faint Templar's cross.
Looks like we're following the cross.
Yeah.
After
I'm going to make mental notes of turns and things while we go.
Yeah. So following the crosses, you don't travel for far, maybe 50 yards, when ahead of you in the south wall of this westerly tunnel, you can make out a pale, sort of yellowy coloured crack in the wall. That as you get closer and kind of play your torch over, there is for want of a better word, it is a sort of a ship's, the equivalent of a ship's sealable door, like partition door,
Okay.
that would effectively be watertight. And there is a pale yellow light coming from a crack around it. They clearly haven't sealed the door up.
I'll push on the door.
It would,
Is it one of those with a big the wheel in the
Yeah.
middle of it?
yeah.
Yeah.
It would
So-
kind of pull open towards you.
Ah, right, okay. Pull it then.
Couple of things that you notice: it's very well counterbalanced, and it also very easily opens without a sound. Inside is a chamber, probably 30 foot, so probably 10 yards by 7 or 8 yards. 3 walls are bedecked with bookshelves, books, scrolls. There is a table in the middle of the chamber. In one corner, on a large, battered leather chair, is the monk that you saw. Resting across his knees
You say broadsword, aren't you?
is a broadsword.
Oh bloody hell!
No, I thought you were going to say machine gun. He was a machine gun preacher. But
No, he's got this manic look about his eyes. You found him on the street. He's a manic street preacher.
He's not got a couple of like plastic cups. Is he going to say, "Make your choice"?
No,
Exactly.
but he does have a broadsword laid across his knees.
Jesus.
Gentlemen, I was expecting you. Come, sit, stay a while, listen. Close the door behind you. Seal it this time, just in case.
Do as he says.
Yeah.
My name is Sir Godfrey Wells. He is in his 60s. Has a look about him that says he's a local. Has a twang to his English that says he's a local. Gentlemen, it's my duty to defend this city as it was founded in our name and honour. We've always protected Valletta through the centuries, often unseen, often without reward. I'm the last of my secret chapter. Most of us work in the public realm now, but I felt the secrecy had its advantages. For example, Montgomery Donovan and his drug dealing heathens don't know that I'm onto them and their foul god. But I thought it would be astute to get to know these Americans that have been thinking about Mr. Donovan these past few hours. I trust your meal last night was good.
You're very well informed.
And it was very good.
Yes, the steak is very good there, even though it is imported from France.
Mm. Oh,
Never mind.
I had the fish. I had the fish because it was local and
yeah, we had
fresh.
we had the horse from France.
So, why are you inquiring, following, spying on Donovan and his activities? Who are you?
Do-gooders?
If you are who we think you are, I think then honesty is probably the best policy.
Who do you think I
You,
am? Honesty is a currency that I can trade in.
We've come across variants of this drug in other places, and the cults behind them. We're trying to stamp it out.
Other cult? Here?
Not on this here. We've come across this in Bangkok, Los Angeles. Cults being found in Ethiopia. It's quite widespread.
and very, very old.
The mouths.
Yes.
Yes.
The cult worships these vanishing mouths, embodiments of an ancient evil god who has come to Earth to poison and enslave mankind. You say you've encountered them elsewhere.
Yeah, Ethiopia and Bangkok.
Did you destroy them?
Ethiopia is buried.
And we destroyed the ones that got out.
The minor mouths, the major one, is buried.
Hmm.
Bangkok isn't destroyed, but it is guarded and surrounded by explosives, where somebody has promised to destroy it if is ever needed.
Yes, if the delicate status quo is ever broken. But the cult itself that was there has been dispatched.
Well,
Removed.
beheaded.
Yes.
So what is your purpose here? Behead the cults? Destroy the foul god?
Is that
Both?
possible?
I haven't
Try and prevent it coming over, at least.
seen it myself. The cult calls it the mouth of Malta. Believe it resides underneath that warehouse you were watching. As for destroying it, that would be my preference. That would stop the source of that foul stuff that they get from the mouth. They ship it to ports all over Europe and the Mediterranean from here.
Do
Who knows how many are addicted?
I thought as much, because this island doesn't seem to have any contamination from the drug itself, does it?
Donovan is smart. My inquiries have led me to believe that he has a number of high-ranking officials on his paybook. And they in turn have agreed to turn a blind eye to his activities for a small monthly stipend and a guarantee that this foul stuff never makes it to the streets of Valletta. So far, Donovan seems to be a man of his word, at least as far as this arrangement goes.
I mean, in Bangkok, they were quite happy to spread it on the streets because it fed the mouth, which then produced more of the drug.
Yes, the
Apparently
man.
it's very hard to destroy.
The thing they worship is an ancient god of many forms. It has plagued humanity since ancient times. It's known by many names, including their lyre from beyond. But I've always known it, and the records, and he kind of gestures to some of the shelving around him, say it is Nyarlathotep. Mehdi nearly spat his drink out then.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only person that would really know that name is probably Ralph.
Yeah.
If he wanted to make an occult check, he could remember information about said name.
So we all turn to look at Ralph, and when his head explodes, we realise he knows what it is.
A cult check art? No, it won't be a Cthulhu mythos. I'll do a cult.
To tell you some stuff about Nyarlathotep, aren't I? Right, hang on a second. Known also as the Crawling Chaos. It is an active, supposedly active outer god, frequently walking the earth in the guise of a human being, usually a fat, bearded, joyous man who wears a red and white suit. I mean, oh no, sorry, that's not right. A tall, slim, joyous man. Thousands of other forms of manifestations, many reputed to be horrific. He has many cults that look after him. Nyarlathotep is different to the outer gods in that he both uses human language and can easily pass for a human being if he chooses to do so. Nyarlathotep seems to be deliberately deceptive and manipulative and uses propaganda to achieve his goals. He is perhaps the most human-like amongst the outer gods. Everything else is very much references to the various books that he's featured in, so that's kind of technically irrelevant. But you're not sure, and you remember Savitri musing about some commentary from Trammell, where it was either stated or implied that Trammell believed Nyarlathotep was behind everything. But Savitry's view was he was mistaken, and that it was not Nyarlathotep.
So is Golgoroth the one that was from London, or is that the one that we thought was?
Golgoroth was the one from London.
Okay.
No, Igolanak was the one from London.
Yeah, Golgoroth
That's
was
right.
the one that we thought was the liar.
Correct.
But Trammell thinks it's Nyarlathotep.
Correct.
Which would be more true, but out of character, because Nyarlathotep doesn't normally deal with death and things. It's more like he wants to send you gaga.
So the
He
Savage
kind of
thing.
he looks around at you, and as he mentions the name, and he kind of his eyes fix on Ralph, and he says, "I see there is at least one more amongst us who is learned in these matters."
Yes, more so, more recently than previously. And I'll fill the guys in on exactly. Won't just leave you hanging there, guys. I'll actually tell you what I've got in my head.
So who did Savagey think it was?
She doesn't know.
Did she make any reference to Golgoroth at all then?
Remember, I have to have a look at her notes.
Does she think it's somebody else? Does she think it's Golgoroth?
Again, she wasn't sure.
Yeah.
She couldn't quite work out who the liar from beyond is. Just that she was sure it wasn't Nyarlathotep.
It's a pretty bold statement to say she's sure it's not. Unless it's just something she would say to calm any panic.
Could be. Do you intend to cut off the head of the serpent here or destroy the god?
Be nice to
Donovan
do
is
both if
not
we can.
I don't think we have the ability to kill the god, but possibly because of the source.
Donovan, despite his outward appearance, is not a man, excuse me, to be trifled with. As a show of force, and to keep the cult in line, he killed his wife in front of them. And his son is cursed, they say, by the evil god that they worship. They're using that foul drug to heal him, which, frankly, seems a little insane to me. He is being cared for in the hospital.
In the local hospital?
Yes.
I'm guessing he'll be guarded round the clock as well, won't he?
No. Not around the clock, only when his father visits, usually early afternoon, most days.
And what's wrong with the child?
He is cursed, so they say. I must admit that I've not visited the child directly myself, but I have on occasion visited the hospital to look at his defences. I am a man of God, not a man who would use a child to get to his father.
Nor would we. It's just, if he's out in the open, the curse, you call it, mustn't be one that's visible. I was more worried that the child would have a mouth somewhere on his body.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Well, that could be the case.
Not really something you can treat in a hospital, though.
Mouth, you say, much like the field of mouths near the warehouse.
I'm sorry. Could you just explain by what you mean by that? As I stumble over my words.
The area directly in front of the warehouse seaside, down on the beach and running up to the boundary of the warehouse, is covered in these strange mounds that chatter and talk if you get too close.
Oh my god.
Dozens of them.
We need to get off this rock and nuke it from orbit.
I was going to say, and you've got access to mortars.
That's the only way to be sure.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Do you have any Greek fire?
Well, that's not good.
Father, I think
Lance, who's got architecture or archaeology?
I have architecture.
Both, I think. Yeah.
So,
No.
glancing around, it seems to be that you're in some kind of perhaps old shrine or old temple.
It's like 13 meters by 13 meters.
There are bookcases all the way around, but there are also a couple of alcoves. Typical Christian catacomb of the era. There is, in one of the alcoves, there appears to be a modest altar with a 4-foot gold cross. One of the alcoves is filled with shelves and in stacks around it. There's one long wall painted with a lovely fresco depicting knights of Malta on a long spar of rock battling a dark and shapeless foe with many heads. There is another alcove with a cot and other kind of living. Well, there's 2 cots, a footlocker, a bowl, a sort of a big vase, possibly like a water-containing vase of some kind. Some small candles burning here.
That warehouse is so well guarded.
And Joseph, are you rich enough to bribe the ship that's off the coast of here to bombard that beach? Oh, there's a misfire as it
Yeah.
blows up the whole beach.
But that would only spread it, wouldn't it? It wouldn't destroy it. But we decided that it would be burning. It's the only surefire way of getting rid of the damn thing.
Remember,
We've got a blimp.
Yeah.
We do have a blimp.
Yes, yes. We could do it in Egypt and in Ethiopia.
Zuck will tell you how he thought you could destroy a mouse.
Yes, there was TNT around it and inside it.
Correct.
But that would, didn't we decide that would just,
It
it
was
would grow back together again eventually?
it was blow it up from the inside and then bury it. Try and prevent anybody from excavating it or rekindling it.
The problem is,
So that's not getting rid of it.
but what's causing the mouths to appear if they're not using any of the nectar here and they're shipping it all off?
No, but remember the house in Bangkok where we found the odd lady. There's a mouth in the goddamn piano.
It was a mouth
Yeah.
from the goddamn piano.
But then Savitri had a mouth on her and she could
Yeah.
inflict mouths by that spear, so she had a different way of causing them rather than the emotions, which is what
Yeah,
caused
but-
the ones
Well,
that
no.
we
I don't think she stopped the piano.
Well, no. She hunted a whole family, killed a whole family, I think,
Yeah.
and hunted people on the island. So I think there was enough, going on that island to feed them with emotions and fear.
Yeah.
Whereas that doesn't seem to be the case here, unless Donovan's doing something to people in the warehouse.
But this is it,
Cause the emotions.
because to get the drug from the mouth in Bangkok, you had to feed it. And
Yeah,
it
but they
was
were feeding it from the arena, weren't they?
That's right. So where's he feeding it from?
That's what I'm
And
saying.
feeding it what? Is it fish? Is it? It could be. It could be a container full of fish and just pouring it out its gullet.
I thought it was the emotions of the crowd that was more feeding it than the actual bodies that were coming down. Because that's how that village in Ethiopia was, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It was an emotional thing because you're depriving yourself. That ritual that you've got is depriving itself of the emotions and.
The whole thing is it's a form of depravity, whichever way it is. It's either sexual depravity, it's the violence. It's
Yeah. So what are they doing here to cause a field for them that nobody's noticing?
And this is the drug that made you more relaxed, open to suggestion, I suppose, in a sense.
Possibly.
Gentlemen, I can perhaps offer you some help.
You can.
He kind of glides his sword to one side and he rises a little bit stiffly, goes over to the stack of books and parchments and things, and he kind of rifles through and he pulls out a parchment, capped on either end to protect it. Nice old ribbon tied around it. And he smiles, looking at Ralph. Do you believe in incantations? Magic, some might call it.
Checks his spell book. Yes, I do.
I have a spell here that hurts the foul god. And he kind of hands it over to you.
Hello.
You're a wizard now, Harry.
Hello. Wow.
Looking at when you unroll it, it's quite a long piece of parchment, maybe 2 arm lengths. There are lots of depictions and text, mostly in Latin, but illustrated. It is old. To your eye, certainly no later than the late 1400s, possibly earlier. You can see here and there that there is a reference to Nyarlathotep, but the context is very hard to read. It's faded in places, but the only thing that hasn't faded is kind of 2/3 down in the document. There is a set of clear text, again written in Latin, but there is also a normal sheet of paper that has translated the Latin into English. It's a spell to unravel the god's physical manifestation and loosen its grip on the physical realm, undoing the body that it inhabits. Potent, but it takes time and focus to perform. Godfrey's kind of explaining this to you as you're looking over it. I don't know what effect it would have on a part of this beast. It may be that it has to be cast on the foul gut of the thing.
Okay, a minute. Charlie's not leaving me alone, so I'll take him out.
No worries. You may study.
I'm assuming I can copy this Latin.
Yeah,
Right, I'll copy the Latin. I won't take his scroll. I'll copy the Latin.
yeah. There is some normal paper and probably an ink quill or something down here.
I've got my notebook.
You've got your notebook in
Yeah.
there, yeah. So you can spend it. It'll take
I do speak Latin as well. So
Okay. If you speak Latin, it's fairly straightforward then. So yeah, you can write it out in 10 minutes or so.
what's the spell called?
It is called. It is called.
Motherfucker.
It's named as a spell against Nyarlathotep. So it doesn't have a particular name.
We'll call it Nyarlathotep Bane then.
Yeah,
shall we?
that's fine. Yeah. And as far as you can tell, I can give you the details next week, but as far as you can tell, it is designed to unravel an entity, forcing it to reveal its true nature as their physical form disintegrates, to deny that dead being their form. To cast it, it is a 5-minute loud chant and bold rebuke of Nyarlathotep, and will have an obvious stability cost to do so.
Did we say it would work on Nyarlathotep, but also other?
He doesn't know, but his view is if as he believes, these mouths are manifestations of Nyarlathotep, then the incantation should unravel it and potentially destroy it.
So we need to quietly sneak into the warehouse and then yell for 5 minutes.
Correct.
Or do it on the beach.
Hmm.
In the middle of a storm.
Yeah, you have to do it
Yeah.
per mouth. If the beach has got loads of them, then
What one would hope it'd be an area.
AoE, yeah.
yeah.
I can help you get into the warehouse through these ancient catacombs, if that would be of help to you. The old Christian catacombs run all throughout the grounds beneath the warehouses out there. Many of them have collapsed as a result of meddling by modern builders. Underneath those Christian catacombs are much older ruins, however. You must descend from the outer Christian catacombs into these lower, older ruins. Go as far as you can and then climb back up into the inner Christian catacombs to reach the tunnels beneath Donovan's warehouse. I'll show you where they enter.
Yeah. We
What?
get outside and we're underwater. It's like,
Yeah. What are these older?
wrong turn.
My brothers laid many traps in those catacombs years ago to keep grave robbers and trespassers out. I know roughly where they are, but I don't know how to disarm them. You must be cautious. Keep your eyes open for latches, metal wires, and loose stones. Don't touch anything you don't have to. You should come upon 3 devices, each linked to deadly blades. If you follow the right path through the outer catacombs. The first, the penitent man kneels.
No.
So you kneel and the blade shoots over your head.
Yeah. The
So if you're
second,
tall, you're screwed.
Neil, duck and roll.
no. He says, don't. If you follow, the inner catacombs have no such traps, but are dangerous in their own right. They were unstable 10 years ago. I can only imagine they remain so today. Within the inner catacombs, you must be as quiet as you can manage, for you'll be so close to the enemy that they may be able to hear you.
Do you know how many people are in the warehouse?
He shakes his head. But I do know that it is more active at night. They come out at night.
Mostly.
I was waiting for that.
Do they take people in there and then don't bring them out? Do you know?
I have not seen such activity.
Thank you.
He grabs his pen and paper, and for the next 5 minutes begins scribbling directions. And at that point, we're going to call it a night.
Ooh.
Well, that escalated quickly.
It did, didn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
you guys aren't reckless enough.
Yeah. As Charlie summoned me out, I was thinking, you're reading about this scroll, was this from Nyarlathotep? Is it going to work on the other one? I come back, put the headphones on, and sort of asked that question. It's like,
Yeah.
there we go, somebody else also it good.
My worry is, do we have to see it to use a spell, or can we be in the catacombs?
Reading through the scroll, Ralph will surmise you have to be able to see it.
I can't use the tele system.
No.
No.
I'll get my binoculars out. There you go. You can
Yeah.
see it from a bit further away now.
Through the window.
Comment though, can I or whoever, can you bribe the British battleship and assault the warehouse from there?
Yeah, splash holy water onto the shells and just blast it.
Yeah.
There is one more set of information you can get from the Templar, but you have to ask the right questions, and you've not done that yet, or you have to engage him in the right topic.
I'm going to be looking at his sword while he's writing.
I'll let you ponder that next week. All right, gentlemen, as always, it was a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed this evening. I hadn't actually prepped the warehouse, so you'd thrown me in.
Sorry.
Neither had I really prepped the Knights Templar, but you are supposed to meet him. But you found yourself in that place, and I thought, yeah, now I'll introduce the Knights Templar and a couple of other things that you could investigate.
See, because we knew nothing about Malta, we couldn't even give you a clue as to what we were going to do.
No, I thought you'd spend a little bit more time digging into Donovan and try and find out more information about the ship.
Not just ship.
You can find out where his ship is if you ask the right people the right questions. But I wanted to make it clear right from the beginning that he